you can have it. All you have to do is ask the consultant who added you to this call. Wish that. Jen, is it still glitchy? Wait, sorry. What'd you say?
I said a little, but not too bad.
Okay. Well, tell me, like, hold up your hand or something if it gets to the point where you guys can't understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to get going. I just wanted to thank everyone for getting on, and I know it's Sunday night and it's Super Bowl weekend. I have a couple girls who are going to be getting on. They said about a quarter after because they were working. But so thank you all for getting on. Hope everyone had a good weekend. We had kind of a heat wave up in Wisconsin, and it was only, 25 degrees? But that felt pretty good anyway. So what I'm going to do is tonight's call is going to be on kind of my story with how I was introduced and why I got going, and just a couple highlighted points about what sets Arbonne apart differently. And if anyone has questions at the end, I'll be open to questions. So my name is Brianne Elias. I'm an area manager and soon to be regional vice president for Arbonne. And when I was first introduced, I was 6 months pregnant and in college. And my mother-in-law invited me to her house for a foot spa. And it was actually like the 5th or 6th time she had invited me to her house. And I finally went because I wanted free food. Being 6 months pregnant, your only thought is food. And I wanted a hot foot soak. I couldn't actually reach my feet to scrub my own feet in the tub. So I kind of just soaked my feet and sat on my phone, even while the woman, Karen, was giving the presentation. So super rude and disrespectful on my part. But when she started talking about the chemicals and how they're absorbed into our body and what they can do to our bodies, I got really freaked out because I knew whatever I did affected my baby. So I started to listen at that point. And by the end of her presentation, I was super intrigued. I wanted to hear more. I wanted to buy every single product, but I definitely did not have the money to do that. I had $22 in my bank account, and at this time, the catalogs didn't have prices in it at all. So I picked out a primer and a foundation, and Karen had said to me, the woman who's giving the presentation, she said, "Would you like to get 40% off by hosting a little get-together?" And I was like, "Sure." And at the time, I probably wasn't going to have a get-together, but for 40% off, I was willing to say yes to anything. And so she told me that my total was $60, and my eyes bugged out of my head so bad that I didn't even know what to say. I texted my mom. I said, "Okay, thanks." I texted my mom and I said, "Hey, can I borrow some money so I can buy a foundation and primer?" And so I ended up begging my mother because I didn't have the money in my bank account. And little did I know that me having asked my mom for money for a foundation and primer was probably one of the biggest signs that I needed to, look into this company as a business. But Karen ended up coming up to me at the end of the night and saying, "Could you see yourself doing anything like this? I could really see you doing something like this." And I was like, "Meh, stop right there, lady. You just ruined our friendship." So whatever friendship we built over those last 2 hours, I want nothing to do with her. I had already done a couple other MLM companies, and they weren't successful for me. I was pouring a lot into the company, way more than I was getting out, and I was exhausted. So I had wanted nothing to do with another MLM company. So my mother-in-law ended up signing up that night, and for months, I watched her grow her business. She was so happy. She was successful. She made it look so easy, and I just watched her. And here and there, she would ask me, she'd be like, "You should do Arbonne. Are you sure you don't want to do Arbonne?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And at this time, I had my baby, and it was hard to find a job. It was hard to find daycare. I totally missed the memo on getting into daycare. But I didn't want to do Arbonne because, honestly, I didn't have time for something not to work. I didn't want to buy in and get a consult ID number just to have it not work like it did for the other two MLM companies. So being that I am a business major, I have a business major from college, for a few weeks, I kind of researched the business plan so I could find a valid excuse as to why I didn't want to do it. So next time, my mother-in-law asked me, I could be like, no, thanks, don't want to because of this. But for my birthday in August, my mother-in-law actually bought me the consultant ID password. And little did I know at the time that was the best gift I could ever be given. It wasn't until October when I finally started to pick up my business and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. There was a gap from August to October and nothing happened to my consultant ID number. So a common question that people ask is, do you have to hit monthly minimums? What happens if you take a break? What happens if you don't want to do it anymore? Nothing. Your number just sits there. So I always like to make that point that from August to October, I did absolutely nothing and my consultant ID number just sat there. So there's no punishments. The worst that can happen with a consultant ID number is you get 35 to 75% off products for 12 months. I'd buy that for like an American Eagle or Buckle or something. I would totally buy a membership for, $49 for that much discount. But anyway, my main goal with this company, when Karen had asked me where I wanted to be, is I just wanted a reliable car. I needed probably about $500 a month for my car payment and like probably $100 for car insurance. And she's like, okay, I can get you there in a few months. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, is those 3 months sound good? We can get your payments looking or your checks looking at about $500. I was like, this lady is nuts. She's like, hey, I was given a system. I followed the system. I got my car in 11 months. That's what Karen told us. And I was like, what? And I'll touch more on the Mercedes when we get down there. But then within 3 months, I ended up buying a 2015 Ford Edge. And at that time, it was only 1-year-old vehicle. And I was like, okay, then this actually works. Because in 3 months, my checks were starting to be over $500. I was like, all right, let's see where else this can take me. So today I've been with the company for actually worked my business October. So 2.5 months. And I had quadrupled my checks. I stay at home with my daughter. I can afford vacations, take off whenever I want, afford to decorate my house and shop on Hobby Lobby way too much. And I've figured out now that my new goal is to gain enough financial freedom where my husband doesn't have to work full time anymore, because I want him to be able to be home with his family. I want him, I want him to be able to hunt and fish whenever he wants or, play Xbox whenever he wants. But he works really hard for our family and he's out of the house. So if I could have one wish and one new goal right now, it'd be to gain enough financial freedom to bring him home more often. So if you guys have a pen and paper by you, I just wanted you to write down, something like, what would you do with extra cash in your life? Or just at least mental note. Groceries, extra gas, maybe a car payment, house payment, rent, go take a family vacation, anything. So just kind of make a mental note of what you would do if you had extra cash. So the other thing that it makes it easier to think about is, somebody else. Carrie! Let's see here. We have more people. Sorry, guys, I get distracted. Maybe I need to not look at everyone's faces, but it makes it a lot more interesting so I'm not staring at a blank screen talking about myself. But anyway, so being a business major, I did research a lot, and I want to talk just short second on let's see here, inflation rate. So as most of you know, the cost of living is going up, and so is the price of products in store. So that would be an example of inflation rate for those that don't know. But 90% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck, and that is not a fun subject to talk about. I was listening to one of my fellow Arbonne sisters talk about the nitty-gritty details, and the one I'm about to say really hit home with me. So she said 86,400 hours is the average amount of hours a person works in their lifetime. 85% of those people say they don't feel any fulfillment, or they say they don't get paid enough. So I'm here to tell all of you that are on this call, you are all made for more. If you have never read the book called Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis, it's for anyone and everyone out there. That's her saying is, girl, you're made for more. So don't think you're not paid enough, we can help you with that. So I'm just going to rattle off a couple things that makes Arbonne different than other companies out there, because I know that is a question whether people want to talk about it or not. The first one is quality products. Everyone today is selling something: leggings, candles, some wrap, pills, patches, you name it. It's all out there. So what sets us apart is our products. We've been around for 40 years, so you can be certain that we are not a fad and we're not going anywhere. We're a vegan certified company, for those of you that don't know, gluten-free, free of perfumes, free of artificial flavors, sweeteners, hyperallergenic, dermatologist tested and approved, the whole works. Arbonne has always been vegan, so it's not like they're trying to stay with the market. They are way ahead of the market, and that's a big subject right now. The second thing that sets us apart is our business model. We are not a traditional retail company. Traditional retail has several hands and hoops and everything else that it goes through before it actually gets on the market. Things like manufacturers, warehouses, off and back and forth to warehouses, then to the realtor, then to the retailer, and then into our hands. And by this point, the quality, the value, anything like that in products has gone down, and so does the quality of ingredients in each product. And if you think about it, in order to make a product, affordable, companies have to make ingredients cheap so that they can still pay the middlemen and make a profit. And what makes cheap ingredients is toxins. So some things that Arbonne doesn't formulate with is animal byproducts, mineral oils, and perfume. Those are huge in cosmetic and skincare. They are the number one fillers, and the only reason why they're out there is because they're so cheap. If you want an interesting video, go on YouTube, look up Steve Jobs with animal byproducts. It's awful. It shows you how animal byproducts are made, and they are just stuffed into our cosmetics. The next thing that I'm just going to touch on is Arbonne opportunity. The 4 ways that you can earn commission with Arbonne. And this was different than any other company. So when I heard that, I also started to get a little more intrigued. The first way is product retail. I did want to touch on the pyramid scheme idea with MLM companies, because that's always a concern for most people. And that was a good time to do it. So we do not get paid to recruit people at all. So let's just say there's 50 people on this call, and all 50 of you sign up. Nobody's getting bonuses off those signups. Nobody's getting paid, anything on that. You guys are not just a number to us. We're just a tool in your toolbox to become successful in this business. And if somebody signs up, if I sign up 3 people today, those 3 people that I signed up can totally pass me up in the company. This is not, if you think of any other business, or, there's like a CEO and then the managers of department and all, and down and down. It's not very often that somebody gets a management position in CEO or passes them up. Somebody has to, quit or leave the company, whereas this, everyone can rise together. So I always want to just touch on the pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are actually illegal. So just want to kind of get that out there right away. The second way you get paid is, I call it leadership money, and really it's overrides. So how this works is we are paid to teach and train our teams to be successful. This is kind of where the money comes into play. We get paid on helping you become successful. So we lock arms with you. We kind of carry you. We carry each other through. So I'll just give you an example. 3 people on this call. I see Jenny, Rochelle, Carrie. So if those 3 people sell $1,000 and they're on my team, I get paid on a $3,000 override, even though they did the sales each. 3 people did 1,000 in sales. I'm not going to try my hardest not to confuse you with numbers, so we'll keep it at that just to kind of give you an idea. Most companies, you get like 1% or 6% and da-da-da-da. So we get paid on the full amount of override. The third way is the Mercedes-Benz. There's only 4 levels in our company, and on the 3rd level, Arbonne sends you an $800 check cash bonus for you to have a free white Mercedes. Crazy, unreal, totally attainable. And when Karen said, you can get there, I told her she was crazy. And now our team's just at arm's reach of it. So I'm from a small town in Ashland, Wisconsin. I promise if I can do it, you can do it. Follow the simple system. You can get a car. The only modifications or restrictions with that is it has to be white and it has to be a Mercedes. Really tough. And the reason why they have white is to represent purity of our products, and a Mercedes is to represent safety. So that's just something that I didn't usually know, so I kind of like to throw that out there for everyone. And the last way you can get paid is on cash bonuses. Anyone can earn these at any level. You do not have to be at the top of the company. And the bonuses usually run between $100 and $600 extra a month. That's on top of your Mercedes pay, on top of your commission, on top of your fast cash, which is just off a sale off the street. There's a lot of ways you can get paid, and it can be instant. The last thing I'm going to touch on is the 4 levels of management. I kind of talked about it a little bit above, but just to kind of give you guys an idea and how much money we make at those levels on average. So everyone starts in an even playing field as an independent consultant. Then the first level of the company is called a district manager. This is where you get paid on your own personal sales. You can give as much of your discount away as you want and still get paid on it. This is the level where you kind of want to be for comfort. It takes about 1 to 2 months to get there on average, and at this level you make $250 to $1,000. No cap at any of these levels. That's just on average. $250 to $1,000 takes you about 1 to 2 months to get there if you work the system. So simple. The second level is an area manager. At this level, you're going to make about $1,500 to $4,000 a month. See, this crazy little MLM idea, or whatever you want to call it, actually works. I am an area manager currently. So this is the month this is the level where business becomes willable. So if something were to ever happen to me, it would go to whoever I decide. My daughter, my husband, anything like that. To have a willable business is huge. The third level is a regional vice president. This is when you get your Mercedes. It can be pre-owned, new, used, whatever. They're going to send you the $800 check, and you're also going to get a pay raise. Your average monthly income as a regional vice president is anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a month, which is mind-blowing. Our national vice president, which is the 4th level, she actually used to live in Anago, Wisconsin, which the population is like 12. And I'm just exaggerating a little bit, but it is very small. So it doesn't matter if you're in a small area or not, you can make it happen. And it's not really about who you know, it's about who other people know for this business. So the national vice president gets a pay raise for up to $1,000 for their Mercedes now instead of $800. And the average monthly income for a national vice president is $22,000 a month and up. So now after hearing that, the district manager, the area manager, the regional vice president, and the national vice president, just write down, just for like a visual for yourself, what level you think you would like to be at. $250 to $1,000 a month, or maybe $1,000 to $4,000 a month, $10,000. Everyone would want $22,000 a month, but just kind of jot down what you think, how much extra money a month you would like. So now I'm just going to talk about common hesitations and concerns. So the first one is, what are people going to think about me when you join a company? I never wanted to annoy my friends and family. I didn't want to be grouped into that category. But what I've found is, you guys, people pray every day for what we have in this business. Time, choice, and freedom. So thinking about what other people have to say or what their opinion is, I promise they are praying for it. So don't let that be a hesitation for you. In Arbonne, we have stay-at-home moms, we have doctors, military personnel, college students. There is a 22-year-old who started when she was 19 years old in college, making a 6-figure income. She just built her own home. So anyone can do it, even from your laptop, from your phone, anything. The next one is, I don't know enough people. over 80% of my team, I didn't know before I started this business, and now they're some of my best friends. So, everyone knows 100 people, and those 100 people know so many. So don't think that you don't know enough people, because it comes down to who your friends or family know, and you will find the connections very quickly. Another hesitation is I don't have enough time and or money. So as far as time, I already spend the majority of my day on my phone. I'm just going to be honest. I spend it doing different things. I was already on Facebook, Instagram. So instead I use the things to build my business. You just make time for things that are a priority. Our consultant ID cost is about $49. And then to start your business and get it rolling is about $250. But that also comes with a handful of products, everything you need to be successful, and 50% off. So don't let that overwhelm you. There are no requirements, no stock, no minimums, no monthly minimums, no inventory, no going door to door. You can go as fast or slow as you want to, and you don't get kicked out if you don't hit a certain number. That's a big stress, and that was a big difference for me with this company. I got married in July, or in August. So in July and August, I was busy doing other things. So just know, and I even know Rochelle, who is on this call right now, she was doing stuff the week of her wedding, which is nuts. Bless your soul, because I took a break. So recently, in the past 2 months, our company has doubled. My team has doubled in sales, and tonight was my turn to do the call. If anyone wants to hop on next week, we'll either have a nurse, a teacher, dental hygienist, a counselor, somebody else will be doing the call to tell their stories. But right now our team has been focusing on healthy living, and that's been a huge hit. So you can just talk to your consultant about how you can make money. You can ask them any questions. But before I wrap things up, I just wanted to put one thing into perspective for you all. A few days ago, I was talking with my girlfriend, Carrie, who lives in Madison, and she said a couple of things that kind of really made me start thinking. She said she was running errands in the polar vortex that happened, negative 50-degree weather, and she just was driving down the street, and she was thinking about all the businesses that were closed due to the weather, especially small businesses, which every day is crucial for their business. And that's days of no sales, days of little to no customers, depending if they were open. They had no revenue. You get the point. But that leads me to my point. So with Arbonne, we're very thankful to have a business despite the weather or obstacles. We're still able to thrive. And this past week, for an example, I hosted an event at my house. 20 people said they were going to come, and almost 90% couldn't come. We could have canceled or anything like that, or closed the business like some of these small businesses had to do. And that was up to me and no one else to decide if I was going to make money or not. So being able to make the decision for yourself is huge. So moral of the story is, kept the open house. We ended up with over $1,800 in sales and over $250 in commission. So that's all while helping people live their healthiest and best life. So I will let anyone ask any questions. Most of the time people don't, because they're shy and they're kind of overwhelmed by all the information. But if anyone has questions, feel free. And if not, totally fine too. And I can send this little call that we did out to anyone who's on. If you want to send it to anyone, that's fine too. So does anyone have any questions at all?
Bree?
Yep.
Okay, I want to make sure you can hear me okay. I don't specifically have a question,
Mhm.
but I just think this is nice to hear, because like when I started a million years ago, I feel like, I thought it was nice to hear, like, do you do this all on your own if you sign up, or do you end up, getting, like, do you partner up? You know what I mean? Because I think that's nice to know. Being new, like, oh my God, are you just gonna be like, here's your stuff, now start? Or what do you do as a person that helps them, like, when they start?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So that was actually one of my biggest fears, is being kind of tasked out on my own, to have to kind of thrown to the wolves. And my favorite part of this business is the connection and the support you have with people. Whether it's direct to you, uplines, downlines, sideline sisters, you are never alone. You are never expected to do anything by yourself. There's always somebody to answer your questions, and you always are linked arms with anyone. So that was a really good question, Rochelle. Thanks, friend. Good support. That's one of my favorite things. But I will stop the recording. Thank you, everyone, for getting on, especially on Sunday, Super Bowl night. But if anyone has questions, message me or the consultant too. I got you on. All right, ladies, have a good night.